Welcome to our latest All-Stars webinar, the latest of our All-Stars webinar series. Today we'll be going through Proofpoint Essentials and the new SMB bundle for really providing both email security as well as security awareness training. Before we start, we'll wait until other people can jump on, and in a few moments we'll just play a video just to kind of watch that Proofpoint have just recently released, which is pretty nifty. So just give it a bit of time and we'll start playing that video.
No matter where they are, no matter where they work, your people are under attack. Attackers know the easiest way into your organization is through your employees. Truth is, people are your new perimeter. We're here to protect your people, and we have the proof. Every day, we protect the people at more Fortune 500 and Global 2000 organizations than anyone else. We can tell you who your very attacked people are and protect them from targeted threats. We'll help you identify vulnerability and build resiliency. We'll help you protect the data your people work with, wherever that work happens. We'll even give you a unified view that translates people risk to business risk and gives you a path to better defend those that need it most. Protecting your people requires more than promises. It takes proof by Proofpoint.
Brilliant. So that's a new video, which is just been recently released by Proofpoint. Just kind of a nice introduction to generally what Proofpoint does as a security company. And so we'll just get the slides set up. There we are. So again, welcome. This is our, really session 2 of our kind of all-stars journey through the different parts of the Proofpoint vendor portfolio and solution portfolio, so you can have a better understanding of exactly what Proofpoint sells, and that helps you be better equipped to when you're speaking to your own customers. And being part of the All-Stars webinar series, if we can go to the next slide, where we've got a few more lined up for the rest of the year. But this one is, again, covering Proofpoint Essentials. So this is, again, a bundle, a particular security bundling for SMBs, providing both email security as well as security awareness training. But again, our host will go, and our guests will go into that later on. And being part of the All-Stars kind of umbrella as well, if you are on here and you're part of the Pro League, then you're entitled to 15,000 points, 1,000 points as part of onto the leaderboards for attending. But also, we're going to be holding a Kahoot later on. So if you don't have the app, then can I recommend that you go to Google Play, or if you've got the atrocity called an iPhone, go into whatever that store is and get Kahoot from there. And basically, once towards the end, we'll basically do a recap on what we're covering through this quiz, and the person who comes first will be able to win something, which we'll go into a moment. But also, just be aware that being part of the All-Stars program isn't just something, it is open to every partner. And if you're looking at seriously selling top-notch security to your own customers, there's a sales incentivization to help you be able to really position Proofpoint in different ways. So this is why we're going through this series, introducing you to the different solutions. But again, as you're talking to your customers, feel free to take advantage of the deal registration program we have, which is available by going to imallstars.com.au. That's imallstars.com.au, and you'll be able to take advantage of those deal registration things that you can see at the bottom of the screen. If we go into the next slide. And so with me today is both Marash and Kieran from Proofpoint, and so they'll be giving you really the high view and this giving you a kind of a bite-sized chunk of what this new Essentials bundle looks like. And so it's great to have you both with us for today. And as mentioned, we do have Kahoot happening towards the end. So first place will win this nice little swag on the left-hand side of the picture there. That's a basketball kit with a whole bunch of goodies. And if you're if you come second or third, once we are able to go back to our office and be able to send things off, you'll be able to, the second and third place will receive a collection of Proofpoint goodies that you can see on your screen as well on the right-hand side. So as I said, be prepared, listen well, and when a quiz actually happens towards the end, yeah, happy hunting, so to speak, and being able to answer the questions. And with that said, I'll pass it over to Marash to take it from there.
Hey, Brett, thank you very much. I'm assuming you can hear me there. Yep, perfect. Thanks, guys. So, yeah, thank you for joining us for the second time around on the presentation or webinar towards Proofpoint Essentials. So today, the agenda is going to be, as mentioned here, where we are going to look at security trends in the industry currently.
Oops, your audio seems to have dropped.
Sorry, is that any
There we
better?
go. Yeah, that's better.
Yeah, sorry, just stop over. Apologies. Yeah, so sorry, just getting an error message. Brett, just confirming you can hear me clearly.
Yep.
Okay, cool. We'll talk through the Proofpoint, the Essentials product itself, and the different bundles we have. Then I'll pass on to Kiran Pradeep, who's here with a senior SE, who can take us through a demo of the product and show things on the product itself on the platform. We'll come back and I'll talk to you a bit more about competition, who we face in the market, and how we can come on top. And then to finish off all the goodies, right? Like what Brett had showed us earlier, the Kahoot quiz. And at the end of the Kahoot quiz, we'll have a generic Q&A for any questions that you might have with the presentations. But as always, feel free to add in your questions as we go. Either me, Brett, or Kiran will be able to respond to you on the chat. If not, we'll take those questions at the end of the presentation. So moving forward, just want to paint a picture on the industry, what we are seeing from Proofpoint and what many reports out there from third parties also confirm is that attackers are increasingly targeting people, no longer the infrastructure itself. The threat landscape is fundamentally changed. Attackers are now increasingly targeting people, not infrastructure at all. The move to the cloud is intensifying, and the trend, is causing more problems than the customers were expected to have. What we're seeing out there is, 99% of the time that the bad actors rely on users to click and activate most of their malicious activities, to send an email through, to click and run a malicious code in the machine. And then what we also further seen is 2/3 of email attacks coming through to your organization are purely focused on credential phishing, to try to get your username and passwords and to use them against the organization, or to do via a supply chain attack to one of your suppliers or vendors. And the other thing that we've seen in the organization is the shift to the cloud. It is getting more intensified. As Gartner's recent survey, where they looked at with customers around the world, and they came back with confirming that the most important Office 365 app seems to be the email. And as for that confirmation, we've seen also confirmation coming from all the other third-party research organizations as well, saying that the #1 threat vector is also on the email. So it aligns. So if the customers are dependent on it, that simply says the bad actors also make use of that to enjoy or try an easier way to get into an organization. And moving into cloud is always not the easiest for moving from from on-prem to cloud, or moving from hybrid into cloud. So we need to have security to support you properly in there, so your organization is secured. And the next pillar I would like to touch on is about email fraud. What we're seeing more and more in the industry these days is that bad actors don't actually need to install something to get into your organization or take money off your organization. They can simply trick you by acting as a legitimate user by imposing as someone else within your business. So business email compromise has been the biggest loss, or the amount of money is paid on for business losses globally. As you can see here in 2020, over $1.9 billion were spent, as was told, informed, I'd say, into organizations saying that they've lost money on business email compromise. So in other words, this 56% of attacks, which is not BEC, it is everything else you put together. So the majority of, or the biggest form of attack in the organizations now becomes BEC, and how do you identify? And some examples of this BECs is just put at the bottom here with this chart, where we're showing that 44% split out. For example, gift carding is one of the better known ways of getting the organization and convincing your employees to get Apple gift cards and uploading it in there. Or, a payroll redirect is another big way of getting easy money for the bad actors. A good example was, we had a customer who recently reached out to us to do a proof of concept of a Proofpoint to compare with what they have installed currently in the organization. So as usual, our sales rep did ask the generic questions on, what was the reason that you want to reach out to Proofpoint and do this POC? And his response was, a bit weird for most of our guys. And his reasoning was that I didn't get paid last month, hence I want to do this. So we're like, what do you mean you didn't get paid? And what we found out later from him is that someone has taken over his email account and written to payroll and HR and told them that his bank account has been changed and to deposit his next salary to the new bank account. And from internally, they saw the email coming from a genuine user, so they went ahead and made the change and made the payment. Now, that's how easy it is out there at the moment. Other known forms of business email compromise is advanced fee fraud. You'd have heard about the Nigerian prince scams, which has been around for a very long time, saying, I've got access to millions of dollars at the back end. Could you invest a few $1,000s initially so you get access to the bigger amount? And then the big blue on the right-hand side is the invoicing fraud, where we're also seeing invoicing fraud coming through supply chain, and not only within your organization, where someone's taking over your suppliers and then imposing as them and coming in and sending you invoices on behalf of the customer, taking large amounts of money out of organizations. And the last column on the far right here is about what we've seen from Proofpoint, because we do POCs, multiple hundreds sometimes on a given day globally. And then what we've done here is we take an average in SMBs and what kind of attacks do they get a given a month. So what we've seen is email attacks, or imposter attacks, as we were talking about. We see close to about 129 different attacks coming into an organization. And from a phishing attack point of view, mainly trying to focus towards those credential phish to get your username passwords. We see about 57 of them coming in, and some of them are targeted towards your employees specifically. And then the last phase is the malicious attachment, where you get an attachment with a link to either input some details or put in a username, password, or in some cases even your credit card or passport details coming in. So that's what's the other main form of attacks that we see in SMB currently. So the next slide, what I've got is a few live examples of these attacks that we see coming through to SMBs. It's very easy. It comes from genuine authority. People are spoofing to be someone else. And then they have all the information pretty clear here, and then they have an attachment in place to click here to download this, and then you get installed the malware. Or you get things like World Health Organization, which is very current with COVID as well, with embedded links to click on to get information done. And this goes on right throughout in many different forms. And also I've got a few more examples here. And also this is in multiple different languages. So the problem is not purely based on local, but it is a global issue and it's a common issue. And most people fall into this category and get phished or scammed. And you can see here with Emirates, they've got the logos in, they've got all the details in, and they would have a link which is pointing to a different area where then their original website itself. So the bad actors are getting very smart, and even with the World Health Organization here, they actually have a method of you click this, you open up onto a portal to put in your username password, which looks like the World Health Organization to get more information. So it's easy to trick an average person to give away the information on, and then get that username password to log in or download something malicious and take over their machine. And you get things like, confidential document with secure share with DocuSign as also hidden in situations like that. So this is what the world is. This is what we are facing out there as users and the problems SMBs have at the moment. So I'm just going to touch a bit more on why Proofpoint Essentials and where we position it. The Proofpoint Essential is specially made to support our SMB customers. We would say the below 1,000 user kind of organizations is where it fits in. So it's an enterprise class threat protection. So it's the same as a Proofpoint enterprise product, the same engines that we have available in there. So it does the same kind of work, but it's focused towards simplifying for SMBs. So it targets towards any kind of email threats coming into your organization. And as always, we are a people-centric company, and we also look at people threats coming into the business. And then it comes into ease of use. What we've seen with most organizations, especially the SMBs, they don't have a lot of resources available. They don't have an IT security manager sometimes, or most times when you're a small organization. And the IT team will be one, if not two people, who's responsible for everything IT, including managing desktops, your email, your firewall, your network, to everything else within that organization. So Proofpoint makes it very easy and simple. So you've got a very easy setup. It's very low maintenance and easy to manage. We've got support available 24/7, and it's a single interface for users and for admin to manage and work through it. And cost effectiveness, which is a very key point to look at when you're looking at selling into SMB. Proofpoint is also known out there in the market to be a premium product with the Proofpoint Enterprise stack. But with Proofpoint Essentials, we understand the market. So we have a very, very attractive pricing to benefits available for customers. So we are very competitively priced, and it makes it very attractive for customers in this segment. So just also moving through to show you on some of the awards that we won for Proofpoint Essentials, and also some of the milestones we've passed. So we've got over 160,000 customers using Proofpoint Essentials. Locally, we even have about 9 A600 organizations also using Proofpoint Essentials within their business. And one thing to notice as well is that more than 50% of our database are actually Microsoft 365 customers. So they did try the way to go through and continue to use Microsoft as their security provider as well as their email application, and they realized that was not the best option at the end of the day, and they do branch out and move into Proofpoint. So that's another good area of working towards partners who are looking to move, or customers, I'd say, moving towards the Office 365 route. From a Gartner perspective, we've been in Gartner for the past 6 years as a leader and proven over and over again. So the product that you're selling, for sure it's going to give what it's supposed to give and support the customer, and one of the best available in the market. And we also got Gartner PA Insight, the customer choice, where actually customers come and give reviews and votes for Proofpoint. And we've won that multiple times as well, where the customers say we have a really great product. And at the bottom, you can see we've got a few more awards that we won as well in the industry. So Proofpoint Essentials are mainly split into three programs or 3 bundles at the moment. So we've got them. The initial bundle here is called the business. So in our business package, what included is standard antivirus, anti-spam filtering, reporting, content filtering, outbound email filtering, imposter email protection. We also have URL defense sandboxing, and we also have attachment defense by reputation. So that's basically stopping attachment by known reputation, previously saying they are bad to come to your organization. We do cover off email DLP. And above that, we also offer customer continuity. So we have this option in case their Office 365 or Exchange Server is down. We would be able to hold their email and continue for them to receive and send emails within our portal. So that is available for up to 30 days with Proofpoint. So the next package that we have is called Advanced, which is most favorite or highest selling bundle that we have. So with Advanced, you have everything else that the business has. And on top of that, we have attachment defense sandboxing. So those are mainly targeted on zero-day attachments coming in, which we don't know as a threat. So that will be sandboxed and checked before it goes through. We'll have email encryption for additional security for your organization. And on top of that, we also offer social media protection for your corporate social media accounts like your Facebook, Twitter, so on, which you have for your corporates, so no one can spoof those. And as I mentioned, our continuity is across the Advanced as well as the Pro, which is the biggest bundle that we have at the moment. So with Pro, what we have is everything else that we have in Advanced, plus we also include our archiving solution, where we can hold information, up to 10 years, and we don't have a limitation on storage. So these are the standard bundles that Essentials carry, and we sell towards the customers at the moment. So apart from this, recently we've introduced a new bundle to the Essentials family, which is called the Proofpoint Essentials Threat Protection. So what's different on our threat protection bundle is that we've introduced security awareness training to be a part of these bundles. So in other words, it's basically the Essentials Advanced package, which I showed earlier on, plus our email security awareness training, so not email, but a security awareness training platform added on, where we have threat simulations available with 45 different training modules, and we also support 35 different languages. And then we have a reporting within our Essentials as well, and how our employees are progressing and how they did from previous time to this time around, and then the customization piece. So that's what the threat protection bundle includes. So what I'll do now is that I spoke to you guys about our production bundle at a very high level on what we have. I'll maybe pass it on to Kiran to take us through a demo of the platform. He'll show you a bit more clearly on what more we can do and how this platform works. Kiran, I'll just change the presentation over to you, man.
Sure, thank you. Cool, awesome. Hopefully you can see my screen now. Yep.
Yes, we can.
Awesome, awesome. All right. Simplicity, straightforwardness, and ease of use come to mind when we talk about our Essentials platform outside of efficacy, of course. That is one of the big drivers of ours. Now, our engines that we use over here, the spam scoring, the fraud detection, all of that is shared across all of our solutions. So just because we're talking about Essentials today doesn't mean that the quality or efficacy of the product is lacking in any way or reduced by or diminished in any capacity. So with that in mind, I will jump through and we'll just introduce you to the landing page. When you jump in the dashboard page over here, you get to see a few statistics about your users or about the environment rather. You get to see the connections blocked. So because Proofpoint owns CloudMark, we own Sorbs, and so we understand a lot of information around IP reputation, and as such, for a lot of our customers, we can block problems or problem IPs even before you have to scan them for bad content or anything such. So typically, we do see a significant percentage. This one's about 50%. I was on a call with a customer yesterday, and they were sitting about 80% of all their emails that were targeting at them just being blocked right at the door based on the IPs that they came from. The spam category over here, it is broken down into other categories, and I'll share what comes in as spam and what's classified as spam. We also have fraud, and then malware, and then finally what was clean and deemed okay to go to the end users. So it gives you a good snapshot of the behaviors of people trying to send emails into your organization. If you go down a bit further, we get to see this graph over here that actually just shows you the trend of all the information, but more importantly, let's jump into the spam breakdown over here and the different breakdowns. So as we can see here, spam is broken down into spam itself, any emails designed or seen as bulk. So one of our viewpoints is that you don't want to encourage users to subscribe to online magazines or things like that, or distribution lists, subscriptions using their corporate credentials. Now, what that happens is that they get used to seeing emails from, I don't know, typical what we see is Zone Bowling Alley for one. You get to see promotional stuff, and then they get used to clicking things. The problem is if something does sneak through, and no solution should ever claim to be 100% efficacy at 100% of the time, and if anybody ever makes that claim, just hang up the phone. They probably don't understand email security. So, there's a chance. So if you mitigate or limit behavior so that users are not getting bulky type emails, you then reduce the profiles of spoofed bulk emails that could potentially be a clickbait or a click target for those particular users. SPF, Sender Policy Framework, authentication. So if emails fail authentication there, that's another check that is bundled up into that spam category over there. So it gives you a good breakdown. You can click on these. I won't go into too much detail, purely because we're just going to do a quick run through here of everything. And Mirage very kindly ran over his time, so I've got to cut mine down a bit. The phishing section over here is phishing, like as mentioned, any phishing type emails will get bundled into here. And what we see in the malware breakdown here is you get to see the attachment defense. So this is the result of messages going through our sandbox and that were determined to be bad once the sandbox triggered on them. So you get to see the attachment defense stuff here, and also you get to see the virus results. So that's with the antivirus. If that picked up any hits on a particular message, that will be moved into this malware section here. If you have multiple domains, you can see how they are faring against each other, just so you can understand whether you need to apply other policies, or for those users who are using a domain, or that they may need extra security. Or what I've also seen is customers sometimes use an alias, an old domain that actually receives a lot of fraud, and they don't use it anymore. It's dead, but they still have it for old time's sake or something such. It's probably worth decommissioning, since mail doesn't go out from there, put a DMARC blocking policy against it, and lock down those domains. So that's probably what you would do in those cases there. All right, so the features, as Mirage covered earlier, we get to see different areas here. I'll just jump into the log search just to show you the simplicity of which it is to find a particular message. Now you can choose here inbound or outbound. You have different areas, different status of those messages that you can search by. You've got your date, pre-baked timestamps that you can choose to use, or time periods rather, or you can use your own custom one, from to subject. You can choose to go into an advanced search as well, so you can say, hey, just show me results of malware, or DMARC issues or whatever have you, you can do all of that as well. That's available to you. Very simple. I'm just going to do a straightforward search. Then we get the results over here. You get to see the, the from, to, subject line. But the most important thing here, status of them. You can see it's quarantined, and you can see that the classification for these ones, these were spam messages, filtered, blocked. So if you had a filter put into place to block these particular messages, they too, it'll be called out, and all the other classifications that we talked about earlier. If you want to have a look at that message, really simple, hit that eye icon. It does disable images, which is great for my demos, because I've done a demo when images were enabled. And then you go, oh, close it quickly, close it quickly. We don't have that issue this time. Gives you the header information over here, gives you the body of the email here. You get to see all that. And you may choose and say, actually, you know what? I don't mind releasing that email. You might report that as a false positive, so you don't have a complex method of having to log a ticket as a log a false positive. Just hit the button, the engine will learn that that particular message is actually a false positive, and so it won't get pinged next time. You can delete show images at your own risk, download it if you want to have a closer look at the particular message. Finally, in the actions section here, we get to see a little bit more of a detailed log. Now, available to you here, you can say, hey, the envelope sender, maybe that's an email address you'd like to allow. You can update the list very simply. Whilst we do have the option there for domain, strongly recommend that it's only used for a domain that maybe you have a DMARC policy and that that it's not going to get spoofed or abused in any sort of way. Outside of that, I would strongly recommend against using any domain, but it's available to you if that's the use case that you have. Similarly, you can choose for the header from instead of the envelope sender. Similar options available to you. If we scroll down a bit further here, we get to see the different classifications for the message. Lets you know exactly why it was pinged. You might ask the question, oh, hang on, this hit on bulk and spam. The spam condition being the worst condition is why that would have been marked down as a spam email. An email could trigger on spam, bulk, and malware, for example. Malware being the worst condition is where that would particularly be tagged as whichever the worst condition is. And again, you've got the option here at the bottom to report a false positive if need be. Awesome. So that's our log searches there. It does what it says on the box. Very straightforward, very simple. I will jump into our emergency inbox just to share that with you. So what we see over here is that we get to see if you're, as Mirash talked about, if your exchange has gone down and you need access to emails for up to 30 days, it'll log in over here. Your users and your administrators, when you log in, these sections over here that you see, the tools at the top, will look exactly the same. Where it differentiates is from these security settings and below. All of these are only for the admins, but what you see over here, you can choose your users to see as well, so they can just log into emergency inbox and open it up and then send emails and continue to do business as they need to. Cool. I'll just jump into the archive over here. So now, if just to caveat this, if a customer has a use case where they need to restore an entire mailbox, for example, structures within the mailbox, all of that, they need that backed up. Our archive solution may not be the best fit for them. However, if the customer needs emails archived for regulatory or compliance requirements, if they need fast retrieval of those messages, our solution is definitely the solution that they should be looking at. Our indexing alone is what sets us apart. To give you an example, a customer who moved off a previous archive solution shared with us that when they put in an archive, a request into the archive to retrieve mail, it took them 3 days for them to get that retrieval because they have that much data and the system was that slow retrieving it. In comparison, they said that when we tested your system, it was a matter of seconds for the same email to be retrieved once they had migrated the data. So our indexing system is what sets us apart from all of the others. So with that in mind, you can actually I'll just do a quick search. So you've got different criteria that you can search by. Again, when a message comes up over here, you can click on it very quickly to see if you found what you wanted. It shows you redacted images removed, and then you can choose to release it if need be very quickly from the system over here and get a copy of it. Okay. You can choose different archive settings for different users. So again, you can choose different groups over here. You can see the different functions they have, and you can set their different archive. Maybe somebody who left the organization or something such. You can have different settings put in over here as well. In a configuration, we have a retention policy, 10 years being maximum. But you can choose, maybe you have only a 7-year compliance requirement, so you can set that over there. Hit save, very straightforward. You might have a need for a legal hold for certain users, so you can put them onto the list, right? So that will enable a legal hold for those particular users, so that that data doesn't get purged or anything such because of legal requirements there. All right, and yeah, there's an option here. You can show those images by default if you want, or you can choose not to. Okay, cool. So that's the archive. Again, does what it says on the box. Quite straightforward. What we have over there. Just touching on security awareness training as well. So again, users can log in over here, launch the platform where they actually have all their security awareness training available to them. They don't have to always come in through this methodology. When you get an email to do security awareness training, they will get a URL. They click on the URL and it'll launch them. They don't have to always come in here to do the training, so it can be set up quite simply. Now, for administrators out there who want to know a little bit more about reporting and what's available there, you can actually set up a list of favorites over here. You can schedule a whole bunch of reports and then add them to your favorites list over there. So you can have these automated so that they generate at a particular time every day, every week, whenever you want to have them set. So they're reports that are available to you that may be a value inbound or outbound, depending on what you want. So there's a whole bunch of different areas from which you can pick and choose information to get an understanding of what's happening in the environment. So again, another such report that you can generate here. You can see the threat activities that are coming through. You get a breakdown of all of them. If there was, we rewrite emails as they come through. So haven't gone into too much detail over here, but it's a way for us to track a particular URL once it's in the organization, so that in case it gets weaponized post-delivery, which does happen from time to time, we're able to detect that click and alert you to it. And or if we know that it's bad, you can see that it's click blocked section over here. We can actually block those clicks that would have otherwise taken your users to a bad site. Bit of history there. We are the organization that invented URL rewriting, and we think we do it better than others with our simplicity that when a user hovers over a link, they can see that information quite easily. How am I going with time, Mirash? Do I have another couple of minutes, or would you like me to stop there?
Yeah, Mike, just a couple of more minutes. If you want to touch on the social media page as well, might be useful. Thank you.
Sure, no worries. So just jumping into the social media section over here, again, need to log into this from here, but it'll pass through. And this allows you to monitor accounts that you have on Facebook and other major networks there. The idea here is there's a couple of things. One, you can use a social discover platform, which allows you to search for your brand being used on other people's pages, or if somebody has decided to spin up fake Facebook pages for your brand, you can use that to detect it. However, the most useful use case is that people put in measures and safeguards on their own sites. So your official Facebook page or your official LinkedIn page. Now, the reason you do that is so that in case somebody gets it onto your page and posts something that is offensive or anything such, a lot of companies these days just turn off commenting altogether, or there's an approval process that can become difficult. You have to approve every single post. This way, you can actually have different rules set up. So the really cool one that I like is if somebody posts something abusive to your page, you have the option to hide it for everybody else on that page excepting that user. So it prevents them from constantly bombarding your page with more content. But you know, when they log in, they go and say, "Oh, my content that I put there is still there. Nobody's liked it. Oh, I guess people are not really interested in what I was saying," or something like that, and they'll probably go away. Rather than if you deleted it and they would go and say, "Oh, it's been deleted," they'll start again and try again and again. So you can put in these kind of workflows, which are pretty cool. If somebody gets into your account and changes settings and things like that, you can be alerted to that, warned about it, and have those things prevented from causing any brand reputation damage. So some really cool things in the social media area there. Each one of these things I could probably spend a good 20-30 minutes on. I'm not going to, in the essence of time today, but there are quite a lot of details, especially around the security awareness training and the social media content and the Essentials platform in itself, the different content filters that we have and all of those things that we need to do, that we can do here. The last thing I'll just touch on, because it was talked about earlier, how do we get user data into the system? Simple AD sync up, whether it's Azure or Active Directory, we can link up and sync up very simply. If you've got somebody on Lotus Notes still, does happen from time to time, we do have the CSV uploads and all of those features, so it doesn't stop the story just because they're using a different platform. With that, I think I have used up my time, Miraj. Would you like me to stop there?
Yes, mate. Thank you. If you want to just pass on the presentation back on, thank you.
Sure, no problems.
Hi guys, I'm assuming you can see my screen again there.
Yep.
Good. Can you confirm that?
Yep, can certainly see it.
All right, lovely. Thank you. Sorry, going the wrong way. There we go. Thanks, Kieran, for that demo. Make it simple and easy, and apologies for cutting it short. And I'm sure that you can talk about our demo for a few more hours if needed to. There's lots more to show and lots more interesting things that we can help customers with. But to summarize what Kieran was saying or showing in our demo platform for Essentials is that, you know, we've got rules set up ready to go by default. So if your customer comes on board, we're talking about getting someone on board and running, you know, within like a 30 minutes time frame using our default settings. And they can use that, start off there, and then they can add on custom policies from there as we go. Onboarding is very easy. We've got a step-by-step process, and someone will be there to support you all the way through there. And as Kieran mentioned, we do a simple sync of users from either AD or Azure Sync, so you get all the information coming in pretty quickly. And yeah, the single interface to manage and very easy to use for customers. So what I would like to touch next is towards competition and comparison on how we scale as opposed to the other vendors in the market who we see day in, day out. So I've just listed Mimecast and Microsoft here for an example, but yes, we do see other players as well, like Barracuda and Trend out there, or even lots of other players in there. But we do come up much better on our efficacy, on how much we catch and how we support our customers. So in simple form, if you consider the Mimecast perimeter defense on where they pitch in, even though they've got an attractive price point available, it does not cover any of these additional services that we're offering, which is the continuity, encryption, social media protection. Neither do they have security awareness training. So in Mimecast, as you know, they do have their own security awareness training in play, and they also have their continuity or internal mail protection. So if you want to get those additional features from them, you just upgrade yourself into the comprehensive defense package, and you get those additional features, and your price point goes drastically high. But it still misses things like continuity, which is very critical for organization if the Office 365 or Exchange goes down, and encryption, and also the social media configuration for corporate accounts. Microsoft again have their Defender for Office plan, as they call it, formerly known as ATP, priced around this as the list price, and them comparing to us, they still lack a few things, and price comparison on product one-to-one, we do come on top of them when you're comparing. So that's just an indication on Proofpoint and how we fit in, and how our price structure is put into play. So you guys understand, as I started off initially saying that, this product is specifically made for the SMB customers, and we are able to match or actually beat most other vendors out there from pricing as well. And then we can definitely show you that value, not only on pricing, but on security, which is much, much, much more important than anything else. So that's where a Proofpoint works, and we can be able to help support yourself as partners and the customers. So as to conclude, to finish off on Proofpoint essentials, we give superior protection with our product. At the end of the day, it's powered by Proofpoint Threat Intelligence. We got machine learning built into it. We got a lot of other technologies where we support our SMB customers, which is the same as our enterprise customers, which we do. Security awareness training piece is again Gartner winning. We are a Gartner leader in the quadrant. I mean, for example, if you want to go back and compare with other vendors, if you want to compare the Mimecast security awareness training, they are not even listed in the Gartner Magic Quadrant. So just to give an example. So we do have threat simulations and training modules. So we do have phishing simulations out there for customers to make sure they can identify phishing emails targeting them. Some of the examples I showed you earlier, you would have seen there. And at Proofpoint, what we do is we actually get real world threats coming in. We actually take them off and benam the links in there and reuse them. So customers actually use the email that they would have been trying to be phished with. So that gives them, hands-on kind of training on our product. And then on pricing, as you can see, we are much more superior in value versus the competition when it comes to our pricing. So we very, very much in line with supporting our SMB customers in the market. And rapid onboarding, as I mentioned to you, less than 30 minutes to full protection. That's all it takes. That's how quick we can get a customer on board if they want to move and do things. But when we do a POC with customers, we do see customers in certain times where they freak out at the amount of emails that are actually going through as clean emails, where we block them, and they make a decision then and there, sign an NDA with us and say, could you actually go in live in front and not sit behind and just do a POC, and situations like that do happen on a regular basis, and we do support our customers. So yeah, it again clearly shows how simple it is to get Proofpoint up and running with essentials. Easy management, as again mentioned as previously, it's straightforward default policy, minimum configurations, so we can set things up and running very quickly. And that brings to end of my presentations and the slides that I had. So before we move on, I might get Brett to come back and chime in a bit about our new promotions that we're doing with Proofpoint Essentials to you as partners. Brett, maybe I'll hand it over to you to have a quick explanation of our newest promo.
Yeah. Thanks, Marash. Now, as you can all see, Proofpoint Essentials protection bundle is a really good offering for SMB customers. Now, I did see a question come in, and I'll just answer that right here. That the minimum seat count for the Essentials bundle is about 250 seats. So again, that may be more focusing on the M side of SMB, but again, it is a really, really good unique value proposition, really everything it includes. Now, as for the promotion that Marash was talking about, now as you can see on your screen, basically this is something that we'll be launching this week regarding actually going out and selling this solution. Now, basically there's two parts. Basically every partner, any rep who sells an accumulated $25,000 worth of Proofpoint Essentials will go into a draw to win a barbecue. Summer's coming up, so we're getting ready, and hopefully everybody will be able to go outside to enjoy a barbecue. And so that's one thing that we're really having, that kind of draw for barbecues. The first prize is that big Weber family next to it, and the second and third prize is the small baby Q on the right hand. But on top of that, for every opportunity that you close a Proofpoint Essentials protection bundle over $5,000, which is basically just selling an opportunity of this solution, which is 250 seats, you'll earn a $100 gift card as well. So you can use that to purchase the meat for the barbie that you'll be able to, win by selling this solution. So more, there'll be an email going out with more information as to that, with the T's and C's and everything. So just wait to receive it in your inbox.
Thanks, Brett. I appreciate it. I'll pass it on to Dorothy for the most interesting part in the webinar, the Kahoot quiz.
All right, awesome. I hope you guys are all excited. Let me just share my screen with you all. Let me know if you can see it.
Yep, we can see it.
Okay, perfect. So I hope that everyone has at least used Kahoot before. If you haven't, please download the Kahoot app or go on kahoot.it, and we'll start loading the code or the pin.
Yep. Can I recommend as well, people, please use your actual name. That way it will be easier for us to kind of track who actually won. If you have a nickname, it might be a bit harder. Otherwise, you'll need to send it to proofpoint@ingrammicro.com. And if we have 5 people claiming to be the winner, then it makes it hard for us to be able to track that.
Yeah. All right. Awesome. At least we've got some first names and full names. So the game pin is 3312075. So I believe we've got 8 more minutes until this webinar ends. So we'll just give it a few more seconds. Oh, wow, you guys are fast. I think everyone's keen.
Everyone wants the basketball kit.
Yeah, everyone wants merch. Thanks,
Absolutely. Love to
Brendan.
see more winners.
Sorry?
That's it, absolutely. Everyone's
Yeah.
fighting for the basketball kit.
Yeah. All right, I'll give it maybe 3 more seconds and then we'll start. Okay. All right, I'll start now. And just letting you know, we've got 10 questions. So one fun question at the start and another one at the very end, just to mix it up a bit. So let's go. Good luck, everyone, by the way.
Get ready. First question. Here we go. When was the first computer invented?
Is it 1949, 1943, 1950, or 1955? Just letting you know, the faster you respond, the more points you get with Kahoot. So whether it's incorrect, at least you still get something. So just waiting on one more person.
I wish I had this at university.
Yeah. Oh, wow, you guys are good. I wouldn't have guessed that one. So the answer is 1943. All right, and we've got Jed up the top. Okay, and now we'll get into the proper questions. So threats now.
Yep, sorry, after you.
You can go, that's all good.
All right, threats now using social engineering, not vulnerabilities. What percentage relies on the user to run malicious code? Is it 100, 75, 99, or 50%?
Let's see if you guys were listening.
Yeah, I think that was on my first slide. So there you go.
Who's got the best memory? Oh, 8 of you. Okay, and we've got Jed still winning. Well done. True or false? Email continuity is offered across all Proofpoint Essentials bundles. Is that true or false? You guys are fast. Awesome. So
And
13
listening.
of you got it right. Yeah. Okay. We've still got Jed up the top. Well done, Wallace, as well. Question 4. Which of the following Proofpoint Essentials license packages includes archiving? Is it professional, business, advanced, or all of the above? So the 5 of you guys are right. Well done. It is professional. Wow, and first and second place still haven't changed. Well done, Jed. Well done, Wallace. So this one has 2 answers and we've got double points as well. Which of the following third-party hosted service sending servers does essential support? Select all that applies. That is a tongue twister. So the answer is Microsoft Office 365, Google Apps, Yahoo Mail, or all of the above. So just keep in mind there are multiple answers in this one. I wonder who gets this one right because this is quite tricky.
I think that's why we're still waiting for 2 people to consider.
Yeah, yeah.
Can you phone a friend?
If you've got time, if you've got 15 seconds.
Oh, clock's coming down.
The pressure. Wow, and the answer is Microsoft Office and Google Apps.
I was about to say, you said that there's a multiple choice, like there's multiple answers. So it couldn't
Yeah.
be all of the above.
Yeah, that's right.
Like a logical thinking, Brett.
Well
Oh,
done,
Shabazz. Oh, the whole
Yeah,
leaderboard's changed.
yeah, it shifted. Well done, Brendan and Zen. You guys are doing awesome. Question 6, true or false? Proofpoint Threat Protection Bundles includes Essentials Advanced Package and Security Awareness Training products. Is that true or is it false?
That is the latest product that we've introduced, spoke about. Sure, they'll get hired of 100 for this one.
Yeah, let's hope. We're just waiting on one more answer.
Ooh.
At least majority got it right. 14, well done.
We can't name and shame, so that's okay.
Well done, Shabazz. Well done, Zen and Brendan. Question 7. Why is Proofpoint Essentials considered to be an easy setup and management for SMBs? Select all that applies. Is it onboarding support by experts, easily sync users using AG Sync, and oh, you guys are fast. Awesome. All of the above is the answer. Wow, and it hasn't changed. You guys are doing really good. So question 8, the maximum retention period you can set in Proofpoint Essentials email archive is it 10 years, 1 year, 6 months, or 5 years? $10 years. Half of you guys, is it half? No, it's not half.
Now.
6 of you guys got it right out of the 16.
We've got new competition coming up.
Yeah, and we've still got Shabazz up the top. Question 9. How does the Proofpoint Essentials Threat Protection Bundle help SMBs? Protects threats, ease of use, cost effectiveness solution, all of the above. Oh, perfect. We finally have one question that everyone got right. Well done, everyone. Yes, they have. Okay, and the last question's a fun one. What sport is best known as the king of sports? Is it basketball, soccer, tennis, or boxing?
Tricky question.
It is. Soccer,
Answer
there we
is
go.
soccer.
I wouldn't have got that.
Neither. Let's see who won.
All right, here we are. So third and second place will get a rep kit from us as well.
We've got
all right,
Sandwich, we've got
yep.
Zen,
Mm.
and the winner that wins the swag pack is Shabazz.
Well done.
Congrats, everyone.
Well done, everyone. We will keep in touch after the webinar and we'll discuss your prizes. Thank you, everyone, for participating. And we hope to see you also in the next webinar too. I'll pass over my presenter mode to Mirash, if that's all good.
Right. Thank you for that. So that brings to the end of the seminar and top of the time. So I think with regards to the questions put up in chat, we will get the answers together and send out an email with the recording link. And Brett and the team at Ingram Micro will organize that for us. Once again, thanks guys for joining in. Looking forward to seeing you all again on the third webinar we'll be hosting next month.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. See ya.
Bye.